Welcome to Backstory and Beyond with your host, Ward Kampf, seeker, innovator, and president of Northwood Retail. As Ward travels the country, he'll share the industry insights he's gained over a 3 decades-long retail career, introduce you to trailblazing business leaders and disruptive founders, and uncover the real deal about some of the greatest cities in the world. This week, Ward sits down with Nicole Trunfio, founder of BUMPSUIT, a fashion maternity brand that's disrupting the marketplace. They'll discuss the origins of the namesake garment, BUMPSUIT's entry into the world of brick-and-mortar, and the healing power of community. All that and more on this episode of Backstory and Beyond.
We're in beautiful Austin today. I'm here with the founder of BUMPSUIT, Nicole Trunfio. BUMPSUIT is a fashion maternity brand that bridges pregnancy to motherhood and beyond. Welcome, Nicole.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So just thinking about your story and where we are, you know, you've been working since you were 13 years old. I think you had a paper route.
Yeah, how'd you know that? That's awesome.
You, at 16, moved to the States, had a very, very successful modeling career, and now you transition to be an entrepreneur and you start this campaign. And I think the whole story is fantastic. So
yeah,
just talk about, you were having your 3rd kid and all of a sudden you realized, hey, something's here and I'm going to go do something about it.
Definitely. So when you were like, I'm just going to have you tell your story, I'm like, which story? There's so many. I feel like I've lived 9 lives, One story of my life, the modeling part, I never really felt connected to that. But I was very grateful for it and I worked really hard and I had an incredibly successful career. Also, I got schooled. I was working with Tom Ford, Donatella Versace, Tommy Hilfiger, Roberto Cavalli, Karl Lagerfeld was a big one for me, just everyone in the fashion industry. And so I really got to see behind the scenes of how a couture house works or how a fashion house works. I did all the runway shows, I did campaigns, I worked with the best people in the industry. So during that time I was studying because I was really curious about so many other topics and I wanted to try everything in my life, but the underlying foundation was to empower women because I felt like, I'm 38 now. So I was doing this when I was 16 and in that time there was no internet.
Right.
We operated from a fax machine to get our day, our schedule. It was really a different time.
Yeah.
We forget. It's wild how much access we have now. And I'm grateful for that access. I know that there's dark parts of the web that, exist too, but I'm so grateful for all the light that has come out of it. I left school when I was in grade 11. I was a straight A student and I won this contract with Ford. But I basically moved to New York unwillingly. I didn't want to be a model. It was just fun, this competition, but it led into this serious life change. And I had to move. And I remember feeling abandoned by everybody in my life. My parents, my school principal, everyone was supporting me to go to New York. And I was this sheltered, very naive Italian girl that just had really big dreams. And that wasn't my dream. So when I got there, I spent my time working really hard and trying to be the most professional model in the industry. I am not the most beautiful woman in the world, but I had a really successful career, and I believe it's because of my professionalism. And I studied at the same time. And I studied sociology, 20th century literature, I studied film, I studied acting, and I just really had this entrepreneurial spirit. And I started building many companies at that time.
Just going back in the backstory, what was kind of the genesis of BUMPSUIT?
I think from the jewelry to BUMPSUIT, the underlying tone has always been to create something that could be a vessel for change. So if it's jewelry like the universe bracelet, which I created, that was a ritual to empower women, to have them repeat a mantra or an affirmation or words they live by to empower them. With BUMPSUIT, I was so hungry to build something that could empower women. My 2 youngest were going to school and I was pregnant with my third and working. And my husband's a musician, so he's always out of town. And I didn't have my family and I didn't have childcare. So I basically was like, how do I dress? Because I hate maternity clothing. I got sent, being a model, so much maternity clothing during my first 2 pregnancies that I didn't ask for. It was unsolicited. It would come to my door and it would make me feel so bad about myself. I was holding up this piece of clothing that had been altered by like Edward Scissorhands and elastic and all this extra stuff added in it. And it's like, I'm going to put this on? I don't think so. No, I put it in the box and I sent it away. It's like we already feel so bad because of all of the changes happening in our body, like physically. Why would I put this on my body on top of it and feel like a science project or feel like really frumpy? Or in Australia, we say naff. Maternity clothing is naff unless it's like a beautiful cotton nap dress or something like that, which isn't my style. So I basically just spent my first 2 pregnancies wearing clothes that were way too small. It was just whatever was in my closet that fit me. I don't buy anything unless it's going to be something that the value will grow.
Right.
So clothing, that never happens. If it's a Chanel bag or a G-Wagon or a piece of property, I'm in.
Right.
But I usually don't spend money on anything that depreciates in value, especially for only 9 months. I'm like, I'll wear my husband's T-shirts, you know? But then I needed something because it doesn't work just wearing the clothes that you have in your closet or wearing your husband's clothes. So I just had my manufacturer make me what is a BUMPSUIT, right? Because I had this like cat suit in my closet. It was single layer, no stretch. The zipper was busted. There were holes in the back of it. But it worked for me. So I was like, what if I made this but added 4-way stretch, double-lined it, put a YKK zipper in it? So I made them for myself and I wore them every single day. And I put a coat on and a bag and a boot and I was so chic and so put together and I felt so good because I was basically like doing school drop-off, breastfeeding throughout the night, 3 times a night, getting up 3 times a night by myself. My husband wasn't there, waking up at 5:30 a.m. to get the other ones ready for school, dropping off, going to my office all day with a baby. I built a nursery in my office like after the fact. But I was just, you know, doing it all and nobody knew, but I just had this BUMPSUIT before it was a BUMPSUIT and I would face plant in my bed in it because it's so comfortable you can sleep in it, wake up, put a different jacket, a different boot and a different bag and nobody knew that I hadn't showered. And I was just like pulling my, like, you know, holding it all together. So one day my friend goes, you should make those for women. You're hiding this. This is a secret and you could be helping so many women. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I felt this crazy responsibility. I was 3 months away from giving birth and I was trying to manufacture overseas and it was taking too long. And so I went to a couture fashion house in Los Angeles that manufactured Rodarte, Marchesa, you know, all the high-end couture brands. And I was like, I have 7 silhouettes and a couple dresses and a support waist trainer. Can you help me? And she was like, we can do this with our eyes closed because we're a couture warehouse. And she manufactured them for me. And we basically launched the company 2 weeks before I gave birth to my daughter. We shot the campaign in my house with my friends. We turned around things really quickly and we sold out on pre-order. The clothes weren't even manufactured yet.
So you have a baby and you've sold out and now you realize you got a business.
I have a baby in a Moses basket, which is one of my favorite products I always recommend mums to get. And I was carrying her around the house and I had like a stacks of boxes that I just made on this packaging website with all the BUMPSUITs in them. I made all the packaging myself. I made the website by myself within 4 hours. And it was just photos of me. I shot at my ranch. A website I built by myself. I'd built websites with Shopify over the years, like 10 years of building websites. So I built all that myself. LA, my warehouse was downtown. I was going down there. I had all of the BUMPSUITs in my house. I was fulfilling the orders myself. My husband he thinks I'm crazy. He's like, can you please sit down? And I have this deep burning desire inside of me, and I really have to do what I came to do.
As it started to grow, did he realize this was?
Yes.
Because I know people that have had that experience. The people closest to you sometimes don't know like how big this can be, and it takes other people to verify or validate. We've brought up your husband 3 or 4 times. I'd love for you to expand on that.
So my husband is Gary Clark Jr. He is one of the most talented musicians in the world and the best guitar player in the world right now, but also just an incredibly beautiful soul and such an inspiration to so many. And yeah, he's an Austin icon. And he's, an artist, and he's authentic, and he does his art to heal people. We're both very driven by this wisdom that comes with what we do.
Right.
So with BUMPSUIT, I really hope to inspire the people in the world of apparel, retail, product design to really focus on this space and level up.
Right.
My dad taught me to sweep the floor in the company and do every single job so you know exactly what's going on. And so when I was doing that, sweeping the floor, I also did customer service. My name was Taylor, if anyone got an email from Taylor. And when people were doing returns, sometimes their reason was I lost my pregnancy. Yeah. And I've experienced 3 miscarriages myself, and I've had people close to me have stillbirths, and I felt with this company an immense responsibility to cover all aspects of this major transition in a woman's life. So when I got an email like that, immediately I was like, okay, we're gonna serve that space as well, because all women that are having babies, there's a possibility that they will experience loss. So we have our annual pregnancy and infant loss awareness retreat, and we have an online retreat as well. So when someone's sharing and they're open to receiving some support, we send our online retreat that we believe is really healing. I attended our last retreat, and we were basically crying from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. It was so beautiful, though. It was incredibly healing. It was a room full of women that experienced loss at different stages that had never spoken about it before. And they were carrying so much guilt and weight. And to be able to talk about that and them to go and feel so light and also be united, bonded forever together and supporting each other. And then a lot of them got pregnant again. Some of them were pregnant during the retreat as well. And
it's awesome.
Yeah, I'm just really excited to embrace all things that make us human, all things that make us a woman, a mother, and to really talk about things because they happen. It's human. It's normal.
Well, also with online, everything looks rosy, right?
Yes.
It all looks rosy.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think there's any problems. So I think people want the connectivity. It's like going to dinner or going to have a glass of wine. I mean, people want this connection.
Yeah. It's just so important to me. That's what I talk about to my husband, not our revenue numbers, not the success of this business. It's there is so much work to do.
It feels like you're bringing this whole thing to the community, whether it's retail, thinking about mothers that have lost. I mean, personally, we went through that.
Yeah, it's hot.
Having our first. And so I know the feeling.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of those women. I mean, it is a big field.
And as I'm in this space now, I continue to see how there is a lack of focus on this space. And it really upsets me. I get really upset by it because we're actually doing things that are meaningful and purposeful. And even our PR team finds it really difficult because nobody focuses on maternity.
Everybody's focused, like you say, on the baby, and you want a healthy baby, right?
Mm-hmm.
You also want a healthy mom.
Yeah.
And getting there and the isolation that goes with it, just speak to that.
Yeah. I personally don't think that we are set up for success, men and women. I think that we are meant to coexist in really close-knit communities. That's why our podcast is called The Village, because it's like, how do we share this wisdom that we would have learnt in a village setting? Because we hide so much from each other because we're isolated to our houses and we're feeling like, I don't know if I'm the only one feeling this. I don't know if I'm the only one going through this. And I feel all these feelings. And it's so isolating for both men and women and children. If we were in a village setting, how would that look? So our first pop-up at the Grove in Los Angeles, they do this thing called the pod, and you get to kind of decorate it at any way you want. And we work with this incredible designer called Will Fox, and we made it really interactive. So we had these curved padded benches that were all joined together, and kids spent hours on them. Parents would just come and bring their kids, and it's like we're offering mums a relief. Whether they're shopping or not, it's like here's a communal space to just let your head down for a second. Just breathe. Look around you. Your child is safe and happy, and we're happy to provide that. So I needed that to be apparent in the domain build as well.
Right.
Will Fox did such an incredible job. We have this interactive playpen. It's a 15-foot, actually I think it's bigger. It's like 16 feet in diameter playpen, which is massive. And inside the playpen, there is a circular seating area. And that is where we're doing diapering classes, lactation classes, labor and delivery classes, sound baths, mommy and me classes, women's circles, really just bringing in just what BUMPSUIT is about and uniting women together so we can talk about all of these things openly and creating a safe space.
So your first brick and mortar recently opened at Domain Northside. You know, as you grow, I assume you get more resources, more opportunities, more people reach out to you with ideas now that you're starting to really make the inroads. I mean, I think at the beginning, you're the insurgent. I think the base layer that you created was probably very straightforward, but then you started really building out interesting products. The Armadillo, baby carrier, which I think is the top seller, your nursing bras, just all the different products. I assume you're getting more ideas or more resources as you grow. And I also think, having the experience of what you had, like you said, I was very fortunate to be a model and I understand the resources, et cetera. So how does kind of all that play into this?
So it's interesting because I have this belief, and I say this to any visionary person. Yep. Sometimes it's like you have your core people. I have my core people who I listen to.
Right.
But the ideas always come from me completely. It's like it has to be the entire vision. And Jen Darzi, who is our COO, she is like my twin. So her making a decision on something, I'm aligned with. So it's great to have somebody in your life that it's like we think the same aesthetic. She brings so much to the table, but really the vision is from one source, right? It's like a director making a movie. It's like you can't have two directors.
Right.
It's like my husband creating music. It's like his vision. You have to have a team that really support your vision and back you, make you feel confident in the vision, if that makes sense. So the Armadillo baby carrier had this vision. I've tried every baby carrier on the market. There was beautiful ones, there were functional ones, but there was nothing that was like a mixture of both. It's like Andy Warhol mixing art with commerce. It's like, how do we do this with a baby carrier? How do we make it beautiful but also functional? And so I spent a long time just thinking about this and daydreaming about this, and I had the vision and I drew it, and Bridget from my team executed it. Every single sample that came in, it got closer and closer. It took us 2 years to develop. I think we only saw 3 samples, which is not many, to get to the final product. And now it's our bestseller. It's the most loved baby carrier in the market. It has this back lumbar support, which is so important for mothers after giving birth. When your sacrum is compromised during labor, you need to have support, especially when carrying a baby. And then we have a weather cover for breastfeeding or just weather, or it has pockets for your iPhone. It has a pocket for your keys. It has a water bottle latch. It has a dog leash latch. It's just got everything in it. And that was a really fully realized vision that was executed. Now we're working on the Beehive, which is the new baby carrier, which I'm actually prototyping in my office. So yes, we have a lot of resources now, but I want to innovate. That's my strength, is like product innovation. And then we also have a product we're working on, also innovative. It's beauty. We're starting to go into the beauty world as
Really?
well. Yes, nothing like it. So I patent all this stuff and trademark. I've patented and trademarked a lot of things in my life that I've never brought to market. But I really am curious about the mechanics of something. And maybe that comes from my dad being a mechanic and a fitter and turner by trade. But I'm really curious about like how things function and the mechanics of them. So yes, we have that. Also a new type of footwear that I conceptualized 15 years ago that we'll be bringing to the maternity market. We have this incredible custom fabric that we make, and it's unlike anything. I've still to this day haven't felt anything as soft. And that's what we're really, really known for. And that's a signature custom fabric. But I think just like really innovating in as many ways as possible, because if you define your company, what is it after you're gone? I really believe in setting your company up for success, creating good operations, creating a good team structure and culture so that your company can live on and thrive, whether you're in it or not.
I always think about the vision, the strategy, what do we need to do? And then the execution piece is who are the people that are going to go execute on this and what resources do they need? But I think, what's really important about successful companies is people. There's no reason to do what you're doing because what you're doing is a big movement. There's no reason to do it if it's not going to be great.
Definitely. And that's another reason. People is really important. Like we do not hire unless we're 100% sure. And so our team is growing really slowly. I just want people that are passionate. That's my number one thing is like, do you want to live and breathe this? Like during work hours, but kind of not during work hours. Is this something that speaks to you on a deep level? Is this is this part of your purpose? It's not just like how good can you do this, because there's a lot of people that technically can do a lot of things really well. It's like, do you have like a sixth sense about this? That's kind of really important to me. Jen and I have stayed up till 1 o'clock in the morning and then been in the office at 9 a.m. the next day every night for months on end. We don't need the team to do that because that's crazy, but we need them to understand why we're doing that. It's not like, here's a bunch of VC money and I'm not sure down the line if we're going to raise money or where we're going to go with this retail expansion plan. But right now it feels really good just having full transparency and full control and knowing every single aspect of the company.
Well, I think the big thing is to scale a business. At some point, you do have to empower the employees and kind of let go of things, but it takes a while. I mean, you've got to get to this inflection point of while you're scaling to let go because it's just in your nature. Your name's on it. You founded it. Like you know everything about it. So, good luck on that because scale is where the challenge gets interesting.
I feel like we are international.
Yeah. So
we're very international. BUMPSUIT is kind of a Kleenex.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're pregnant. Do you have a BUMPSUIT yet?
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those products that is so iconic now. And as we expand our product categories, we're launching activewear, we're launching new baby carriers, we're moving into the postpartum space very heavily. We're also launching a marketplace as well.
Right.
So
speak a little bit to that.
I just feel like, you're inundated with so many products on the market and you need very little when you have a baby. You don't need everything that is on the market. It's natural to have a baby and there's products that make it easier and there's products that are just unnecessary. And I wanted to help moms and I wanted to do all the research for them. So we could have 25 vetted products of all categories. So the best diapers, the best breast pump, the best travel system, the best sleep sack, the best pacifier, the best bottles for milk. It's just the best of everything that you absolutely need. So we've got 25 products. So you can come and it's truly a one-stop shop. It's like we've done all the research for you. Here are the best products. Look no further. It's really interesting that there's not many stores for mums, I really noticed when I was pregnant. We want to be a hub for mums, to really just treat our mums, embrace our mums, nurture our mums, support our mums, nourish our mums. And that's really what this brand is about. That's really what our retail is about. Hopefully our retail expansion. It's going to be the one-stop shop, the hub for mums, a community building space that just reeks of like love and nurturing.
From the moment I saw the logo to the billboards, physically seeing it, I said, there's something here. And so all the success in the world, this is the fun part of the conversation. This is the real deal. Things you enjoy doing in your free time, music.
Yeah.
You're obviously around a lot of music a lot of times.
Yeah.
But things you do, travel, obviously you get to see the world as a model, places you like to go, places like favorite cities.
Oh my gosh, like in the whole world?
Boston, LA, Australia.
Wow.
You know, I mean, you've got a pretty wide range, so you're different than most.
I'm really simple though. I mean, my shower is my favorite place in the world. I feel like when I get to have one, I feel like it's such a privilege and I'm just so grateful.
Right.
I love anywhere with my husband. It's just so cool being around him. In Austin, I love Commodore Perry Estate. It's gorgeous.
Yes.
And Hotel St. Cecilia, Continental Club in Austin, Sea Boys, also love. Sammy's, my favorite Italian in Austin. World, Byron Bay, Australia is a really special place in my heart. And then I think Morocco is a place that I think everyone should try and experience at some point. Marrakesh, so cool. It's like you feel like you're in Aladdin and you just open a door and it's like treasures and it's like a tiny little door and you open it and it's like, whoa, the most beautiful riad, or it's just magical place to be.
And then just as it relates to Austin or LA, we obviously spend a lot of time out on the West Coast. Things people should see, you know, that come to Austin, obviously Commodore Perry, Continental Club.
Yeah, my family are coming and I have started building a schedule for them.
Right.
So definitely I think getting a boat and doing Town Lake from dam to dam is beautiful. Like seeing Austin from that perspective, if you can, is amazing. I'm going to take them to Fredericksburg, to all the wineries. I love Wimberley. Wimberley is like a small river town.
Yeah.
Trattoria Lucina, the winery, is out by where I live. Gorgeous. And then I want to drive to Marfa and do Big Bend. I think that's really cool. Liz Lambert, she's such an icon in Austin, and just all of the places that she's developed here, I think, tell the story historically of Austin. All the cool concert venues, the good barbecue spots, you know.
Got to have a little Franklin's once in a while.
Franklin's, some Salt Lake, some Terry Blacks.
Yeah.
I love the trails here. I love the hike and bike trail is where we do our Mummy and Me walk, and it's just like magical. Like when I walk around that trail, it just never gets old. I'm like, wow, I get to live here and walk on this trail. It's beautiful. It's magical.
What do you think the hidden gem of Austin is?
The Domain, of course.
Yeah.
You got to get up there.
Yeah.
Take the kids to the Museum of Ice Cream.
Yeah.
Come and see us at BUMPSUIT. I mean, it has all the best stores. Like it really, truly does. Like when we were looking for retail, we went to all of the outdoor malls and the Domain. It's the best. It's the best. You know, there's nothing like it.
Where do we find BUMPSUIT?
Come see us at our store, Domain Northside.
Yep.
Definitely come and join one of our little activations that we're going to be doing in store. Website is bumpsuit.com. You can come to our Instagram. We have a community in a lot of cities that we can add you to a group, our mom club, and we do walks all over America and international soon. The Instagram handle is at BUMPSUIT, and I'm at Nick Trunfio.
I want to thank you for your time, but more importantly, I want to wish you all the success in the world. Your heart's in it. I can see it through our conversation. And like I said, I think your thoughts, logo, billboards, the way you've put this together, the armadillo carrier, I could see being like away luggage. I could see that being that iconic.
Yeah, wow.
And more products like that. So
yeah,
all the best, and
thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
This has been Backstory and Beyond, hosted by Ward Kampf. To learn more about Northwood Retail or the destinations from today's episode, visit backstorybeyond.com.